Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Before I go any further, I do need to pause for a public service announcement for Bookmap. Bookmap is asking all Discord users to fill out this form. You can get to it by scanning this code with your phone, and this will provide you with some exclusive webinars, enhanced services, beta programs, free add-ons. And this will also make Bookmap Discord a better community for all participants. So if you have not done so already, please fill out this form. If you're not a Bookmap subscriber, you can subscribe to the free version. And that free version does include crypto data, I think for one exchange, as well as delayed stock data. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. And note that Bookmap Discord is a very large community. There's a wide variety of topics covered here on asset classes, including stocks, options, futures, and crypto in a wide variety of languages. Great community, a lot of active traders working together to help each other become better traders. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @DougPless. The key tenets of my approach to trading is that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures. And this is especially true in the last few years. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index. So SPY is just another version of SPX, and ES is a derivative of SPX. So going back to my first tenet, when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. They want to remain delta neutral. So their job is just to make markets and manage their risk, which is their delta exposure, and they do that by buying and selling ES futures. And the same for the NASDAQ 100. NDX is the underlying index. QQQ is the ETF version of that. It is more liquid, more volume traded in QQQ than NDX. And NQ is a derivative of NDX. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading. The first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. For example, setups in the S&P 500 can be taken with ES futures, SPY shares, SPY options, SPX options, or even ES options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel and Discord, as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And hello, Stephen. Welcome. Glad you're here. And hello, Trading Price and Time. Good afternoon to you. Welcome. Glad you're here. Here's my agenda for today, Wednesday, February 14th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for today as well as the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. Then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to show them. So please post your stocks and I'll be glad to take a look. All right, let's start with economic data and events. So today was VIX expiration, and that was not much of an event really, just something to keep track of, VIX expiration. All right, let's move on to news events for the rest of the week. So tomorrow, retail sales, economic data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Then on Friday, PPI data comes out at 8:30, and Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. And of course, Friday is the options expiration for the month of February. And it has been a very call-dominated options expiration. We'll take a look at that tomorrow. All right, so that's the rest of the week. Let's move on to positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES Futures and Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I do want to go to the underlying index and take a look at a larger time frame, higher time frame. So let's go to the SPX. That's wrong chart, sorry. I'm going to start with a one-day chart for SPX. So again, I'm looking at the underlying index for the S&P 500. Current rally began last year, October 30th. Wrong tool. And so far from low to high is about 940 points. And SPX has been moving through a variety of call wall levels, starting with 4,800 at the beginning of this year. So let's pick this up with a 1-hour chart now. So this is SPX in a 1-hour chart showing the same trend line. And SPX gradually moving through call wall levels. And this is the January monthly options expiration. And SPX broke above the 4,800 level, broke above the 4,900 level after the FOMC went down below, then broke out again above 4,900. And the call wall moved all the way up to 5,100. That was a couple of days ago, and then has moved back down to 5,000. And this is a reaction to the CPI report yesterday. The move down actually began the day before. All right, let's take a look at levels on this chart. And I'm going to zoom in just a bit so we can get a closer look. All right, so we know that SPX has gradually been increasing, and the call walls have moved higher and higher, supporting higher prices up until the drop back down to 5,000. All right, let's take a look at levels on this chart. First of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. This is based on the options market. I update this once a week, and I do post this in Discord. All right, so that's the weekly expected move. And yesterday, SPX did trade down below that level, also traded below that level again today, and now is up higher. And then the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move, also based on the options market. And so far today, SPX has traded briefly above the upper daily expected move and is now heading back that way again. All right, the other lines on this chart are showing Spotgamma levels. These are proprietary Spotgamma levels provided to subscribers. They're shown on a variety of trading platforms. This is Thinkorswim. These levels are based on gamma-weighted open interest. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. So first of all, here's the put wall at 49.10. That's a strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. That level did move up pretty substantially from yesterday up to 49.10 today. All right, the next level up is the volatility trigger at 49.45. That is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma and volatility flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility when market makers are trading with price. On the other hand, above that level, like SPX is trading now, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. And the next level up is 5,000. That's the call wall, as I mentioned before. That's a strike with large net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. That's also the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with large absolute positive and negative gamma, and it is by far the most dominating strike as far as absolute gamma goes in the SPX. As I mentioned before, that level last Friday moved up to 50.50. On Monday moved up to 5,100, and now yesterday and today is back down at 5,000. All right, so those are the key daily levels. A very narrow range, the put wall being at 49.10, the potential floor, and the call wall at 5,000, the potential ceiling. All right, let's wrap this up with a 1-minute chart for SPX, just to get a closer look at the levels in play for today. So SPX gapped up today. This left shaded portion is showing price action for yesterday. This is the reversal higher yesterday afternoon. Close above the 49.45 volatility trigger. Gap up today. Some resistance at the upper daily expected move, and now SPX is trading below that level but above the upper weekly expected move. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap now. All right, in Bookmap, I have my own cloud notes. I have one column of cloud notes, so I can show SPX levels. There's the 0 gamma level. And I'm also showing SPY levels on this chart. SPY round number levels have been in play for today. There's the 498 that had acted as resistance earlier today. Here's the 495 absolute gamma strike. And right now it looks like this 497 level along with ES 5000 is acting as resistance. That same level was a little bit of resistance earlier today. Right, I talked about shifts in levels for SPX. Volatility trigger, call wall, and absolute gamma strike all remain the same levels from yesterday. The put wall did move up. And for SPY, volatility trigger moved lower. The put wall also moved higher, and the call wall and absolute gamma strike both shifted lower. And so it's a bearish hat trick for SPY. So that is, I look at that as bearish. All right, so those are the levels in play for the S&P 500. Again, primarily the SPY levels, SPY round number levels being in play for today. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. Let me zoom in just a little bit to see this. I wanted to see the label for this level down here. So this is, looks like, for NASDAQ, I have my own cloud notes. And actually, before I go into that, let's take a quick look at the underlying index charts. I'm going to start with QQQ. Dark shaded area on the right showing regular trading hours. The only clear support and resistance is at the 429 level. I'm not sure why the Spotgamma levels labels for the levels are not showing here. 430 is the absolute gamma strike. All right, for QQQ, the volatility trigger and put wall shifted higher. That's somewhat bearish. Let's take a look at NDX. Let me zoom in. So NDX, this 17,625 level was in play for today, acting as support, along with the QQQ 429 level. So that's the only NDX level in play for today, and that is a large gamma 4 level. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. All right, so this break of 432, good entry point for a short. Then the 429, 625 level, along with NQ 17,700 acting as support. So again, I have my own cloud notes. One column of cloud notes for the NASDAQ NQ futures. So I can show QQQ levels. Then again, there's that 625 NDX level just above the QQQ 429 level. Also big round numbers for NASDAQ NQ. Here's the 430 absolute gamma strike acting as support. Hello Caesar, welcome, glad you're here. I'm looking at questions, and Caesar asked, are you using TraderMap Pro on NQ or just high cutoff filter? So I'm not using TraderMap Pro. Excuse me. What I've done is I've adjusted my heat map settings just to clear out a lot of the noise in NASDAQ. I'm really focused for NASDAQ, focused more on the QQQ, NDX, and NQ round number levels. So I've adjusted my, maybe I need to revisit this, and maybe use TraderMap Pro, but for now I have just, and I did this some time ago, adjusted the heat map in NQs to make a clean chart here. All right, so those are the levels in play for NASDAQ. Again, for QQQ, volatility trigger put wall shifted lower. And for NDX, the volatility trigger call wall and absolute gamma strike all shifted lower. And the call wall and absolute gamma strike shifted back down to the 17,100 level. That is, those has been the call wall and absolute gamma strike for quite some time, moved up to 18,000, now back down to 17,100. And for NDX, the put wall did also move higher, but a bearish hat trick for NDX as well. All right, so those are the levels in play for both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Let's take a look at gamma notional, see how market makers were positioned at the on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. What this is gamma notional for SPX, SPY, NDX, QQQ, and the Russell 2000. Note, with the exception of NDX, all these numbers have shifted negative. So yesterday, all positive, and today, again, with the exception of NDX, all negative, and just mildly negative. So in a negative gamma environment, this indicates that traders are long puts, market makers are short puts, hence the negative gamma, and they have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. Now, this is at the beginning of the day, so if the rally continues, I expect gamma notional to shift back positive. So all these numbers did shift lower from yesterday, and they shifted to negative, and just mildly negative. And as we've seen already, the SPX is trading above its volatility trigger, and SPY is as well. So both SPX and SPY are trading above their volatility triggers. And let's check on QQQ. Also back above its volatility trigger at 428. All right, so that I'm going to skip over the Vanna model. It's the last time I looked, the index, SPX, SPY, QQQ, we're all trading at the bottom of the curve. So there's no additional insight today from looking at the Vanna model. All right, so let's move on to positional analysis. Move on to execution. So we can take a look at some setups. So everything other than Bookmap that I've looked at so far is based on static data. The gamma levels in the SP 500 and NASDAQ, that's based on static data. Spotgamma takes open interest data, applies their algorithms to that data to come up with those levels. They change every day. I update them every day, so I can show the correct levels on my chart. And by the way, I forgot to mention there is a difference in price between ES and NDX, ES and SPX, and NQ and NDX. And I post the preliminary and final numbers that I'm using every day in Discord. And right now the ES to SPX difference is somewhere between 16.5 and 17. And I'm using 16.5. And that's what I posted in Discord for my final number. Also, okay, so let's that's the positional analysis. Let's move on to execution now. So what I want to do first is take a look at what options traders have been doing. So this is real-time data now. The hero signal is hedging impact real-time options. This is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. So this chart is showing price for SPX with a white line and the hero signal in the purple line. A falling hero signal indicates that traders are buying puts and or selling calls in SPX, SPY, and market makers are taking the opposite side of that, and they have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. And a rising hero line indicates traders are taking positive delta positions. They're buying calls and or selling puts. Market makers take the opposite side, and they have to buy futures to hedge their delta exposure. And so far today looks like slightly bearish, but somewhat mean reverting price action. All right, let's zoom in on this chart now. And let's take a look. I want to focus on one setup from this morning. And this was the short around 1030. So the 1030 turnaround. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go back to ES. I'm going to focus on the first 2.5 hours of trade. Here's the cash open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Quick drop lower. And then options traders were taking positive delta positions. Price made a series of higher lows, consolidated just below the 497 level. That's shown here. This was a continuation pattern. Price broke out up to the 498 level. And let's focus on the volume dots now. So the volume dots show market buy minus sell. Green volume dots indicate more buyers than sellers. Magenta dots indicate more sellers than buyers. So starting right around 1030, when traders were taking negative delta positions, aggressive sellers start to come in. And note on the move up, this was a buy stop run that's shown by the rising yellow line in the subchart, also the on-chart indicator. So we know there was a stop run up to the upper daily expected move and the 498 level just above that. All right, let's go back to Hero. So the Hero signal starts to makes a lower high, then starts to move lower. Let's separate out puts and calls and see exactly what traders are doing. I'm going to have to do this pretty quickly. This triggers the auto zoom. Traders were buying calls, take the foot off the gas, they stop buying calls, and they start buying puts. And that's what helped to trigger that reversal lower. So traders call buyers take their foot off the gas, they start buying puts, and price moves lower. And let's zoom in on this move down. Really interesting is that what large traders were doing with iceberg orders. Notice here, price moves up to SPY 427 and ES 5000. And these aggressive buyers are met with iceberg orders, sell iceberg orders. This is what large traders use iceberg orders to hide their size. So pretty easy short there. Lower high, traders taking negative, options traders taking negative delta positions, market makers taking the opposite side, and they sell futures. Excuse me. Excuse me. A little bit of a pullback to 5,000 there, and this is where large traders have their iceberg orders waiting to take them on. And one very interesting thing here, note this line right here. This is iceberg orders remaining in the order book, not completely filled. And that will come into play later. Let's see, I may be looking at the wrong line. So let's move on. So we know traders were taking negative delta positions. And here's another iceberg order. And note this time remains in the order book as well. There's that line indicating there are iceberg orders yet to be filled. Again, aggressive buyers move price up, this time to VWAP, and met by these iceberg orders again. You shall not pass. Large iceberg orders in there, taking on these aggressive buyers. Price moves lower. And once again, note this line remains in the order book. That may be hard to see, but that is still iceberg orders, sell iceberg orders, and aggressive buyers again met by large sell iceberg orders. That is 2,500 contracts executed, sell iceberg orders. And again, this is what large traders are using to hide their size. This is also shown in the subchart here with this light blue line. Stop run up into those iceberg orders and price moves lower. And aggressive sellers come in as well. And then here's that second higher line of iceberg orders just above. And note that was finally canceled. That's what the C stands for. So that line terminates right there. So they had their iceberg orders in it. This was 49.92.25. And then the one above, this is the one at 49.92.25, and the one above just above 5,000. So this should indicate the clear value of having iceberg orders on your chart. Very easy read today. Just get short at 49.92 or just above 5,000. All right, so let's go back to Hero. All right, so that's the setup that I wanted to point out. Again, when I'm trading, I'm looking at multiple screens. So I have Hero on one screen and Bookmap on another, and then my trading platform on another screen. So I don't have to jump back and forth between these screens. But again, just to summarize this short setup, call buyers turn into call sellers, take their foot off the gas, start buying puts. Orange line, blue line moving in the same direction, very powerful directional indicator, and then price moves lower. Now it looks like the call buyers have come back in starting just after noon. And not doing much with puts. Let's go back to
Iceberg ESH for CME sell 300.
Let's go take a look at that. I have the iceberg alerts turned on. Did anybody hear that? All right, let's go back to the total signal. All right, so pretty choppy. Actually, let's go back to puts and calls. So today they are buying calls. They're also buying puts. That's shown by the positive notional value and the rising orange line. All right, Stephen and Caesar said yeah. So I have turned on the my iceberg alerts. That's pretty helpful, and to me, maybe a little less intrusive than the constant market pulse volume pressure. All right, let's go back to total signal. So mixed picture here today. They're buying calls and buying puts, and net for the day it's pretty neutral. Almost that's minus 1,600 million, 16 million. Very neutral for the S&P 500. It looks like now Hero has shifted lower again. Let's move on to NASDAQ. Pretty choppy signal here for NASDAQ. And the one that I want to focus on is the short at 1030 as well. Pretty clear signal here with NASDAQ. Sharp drop. This is a combined signal for NDX and QQQ. All right, so let's go take a look at NASDAQ now. And we'll take a look at the Mag 7 signal in just a minute, that it was a little bit slower today. Often it's a leading indicator, and today it was a little bit slower. So let's go to NASDAQ. So we know around 1030, traders started taking negative delta position in NDX and QQQ. Early uptrend, oops, wrong tool. Early uptrend, trend break. Aggressive sellers shown by the magenta dots come in right around 432. Note in the subchart, CVD shifts lower. That's the dark blue line. And also sell stop orders fuel the move lower. That's shown by the falling yellow line. Also the on-chart indicator. Sell stop orders fueling that move lower. Down to finally right around 17,700, the NDX 625 level, and QQQ 429, that cluster of levels. Then this lower weekly expected to move, and VWAP acting as resistance as well. All right, so nice short setup in NASDAQ as well. Again, remember, my thesis was bearish for the day for both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ based on the shifts lower in the SPY levels and the NDX and QQQ levels. And Floyd's Garage, hello, welcome, glad you're here. Ask if over the volatility trigger is bullish. Yeah, I think Spotgamma does consider that more of a bullish signal or indication when an index is trading above its volatility trigger. I'm not sure that's always the case, but that is that's their thoughts. All right, let's take a look at some stocks, and then we'll get back to the live market. So just to point out, so this Hero makes a lower high. This is just after 1030. Here's the Mag 7 signal. So what this is showing is a combined signal for the stocks known as the Magnificent Seven: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla. So it takes just a little bit longer, maybe about the same time, just after 10:30, but it was making equal highs, then started moving lower as traders started taking negative delta positions in the Mag 7 stocks, and so far that continues today. So that's confirming what the NASDAQ signal was showing. Weakness and a move lower right around 10:30, 10:35. Let's take a look at some stocks, and then we'll get to the live market. All right, the first stock I want to take a look at is AMD. Shift to puts and calls. Traders buying the dip in AMD. Rising orange line indicates traders are buying calls. Note the flow alert just a minute or two after the cash open, giving you a good signal to pay attention to AMD. Call buyers definitely driving price in AMD today. Very typical pattern. Aggressive call buyers. First thing in the morning, take the foot off the gas, price consolidates, and now starting around 11:20, they've started buying calls again, now price moving higher. Call buyers and sellers definitely driving price action in AMD. Let's take a look at Bookmap. Here's the opening print in AMD. Call buyers come in immediately. Price moves higher. Take their foot off the gas. Start selling calls. Price moves lower. Start buying calls again. Price moves higher. Let's go back to Hero. All right, the next stock I want to take a look at is Meta. All right, call buyers also driving Meta here. A little bit different chart here, but early morning, pretty similar. This is very typical of Meta. Aggressive call buyers come in the morning. Another flow alert to get your attention. Price moves higher. Call buyers take the foot off the gas. Now in this case, it looks like some aggressive sellers came in. Call buyers remained somewhat neutral here. So aggressive call buyers in the morning, and they're not selling calls. Not doing much with puts. Note the notional value here for calls positive 183 million, and for puts minus 5 million. So they are buying puts, but call buyers much more aggressive. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Meta. Sorry about that. Let's zoom in here. All right, here's the opening print for Meta. So this initial move up was right before the cash opened. A little bit of chop, call buyers come in, price moves higher. Note more magenta volume dots coming in. So the call buyers are holding on to their calls, they're not selling. Then aggressive sellers start to come in. That's shown by all these magenta volume dots. And price moves lower as call buyers have taken their foot off the gas. So by using Spotgamma and Bookmap here, we can determine what is driving price: aggressive buyers and sellers, call buyers, sellers, put buyers and sellers. So in this case, in the morning, it was call buyers. They took their foot off the gas, didn't sell calls, but the aggressive sellers started to move meta lower. All right, let's go back to Hero. And the last stock I want to take a look at is NVIDIA. Same pattern. Aggressive call buyers in the morning. Take the foot off the gas. Now in this case, they started selling calls. Price moves lower. Another flow alert just a minute or two after cash open. So we know that call buyers and sellers, traders trading calls, were definitely driving price in NVIDIA today. Let's go take a look at NVIDIA. Opening print, call buyers drive NVIDIA higher. Take the foot off the gas, start selling calls, price moves lower. Let's go back to Hero. Note the time here. 10:30. Hero makes a lower high, the call signal. They start selling calls, start buying puts. Price moves lower. NASDAQ moves lower. Let's compare this signal with the Mag 7 signal. Very similar. NVIDIA drives Mag 7, drives NASDAQ. All right, so Mag 7 signal, again, very similar. Lower high. Traders start selling calls, start buying puts. Mag 7 and NVIDIA and NQ all move lower. All right, does anyone have any other stocks they want me to take a look at? All right, let's get back to the, let's take a look at the S&P 500 first. I'm going to go back to the total signal. So the Hero signal is rising, starting just after, like around 12:05, something like that. Hero signal rising. Let's go to Bookmap. Back to ES. Zoom in on this a bit. Another sell iceberg orders waiting in the order book. And Juan the Man asked, do you keep track of and trade all those instruments? I have trouble keeping just keeping track of SPX. I primarily focus on trading the S&P 500. So that's just me. I know other people will trade, I guess, have the ability to multitask and trade various instruments. I want to show um, a wide variety of things for people who may be interested in trading stocks rather than options. So again, my focus is primarily on the S&P 500, but I know that there are other people watching who like to trade other instruments, so I'm covering those as well. And plus, the stocks that I cover, the Mag 7, are key drivers of price for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100. Floyd's Garage asks, am I looking at the blue lines for iceberg orders? All right, so let's talk about the iceberg orders. I have iceberg orders. This is part of the MBO bundle. This is an add-on that is included, that's an additional purchase. It's available on the Bookmap marketplace. It requires rhythmic data and CME futures. So CME supplies this data. Rhythmic data is the only one who provides it. Bookmap takes that data and has created the stops and iceberg indicators. There are two versions. There's the on-chart indicator and the sub-chart indicators, and I have both. So the blue line, light blue line, in the sub-chart, that's what I'm showing with iceberg orders, for iceberg orders. And I have that in sum mode. So I'm showing the cumulative iceberg orders. This is for the day since I opened up Bookmap around 6:40, something like that this morning. All right, so that's the sub-chart indicator. This is the on-chart indicator. These icons right here, they're shown a magenta. This horizontal line indicates that this iceberg order was not completely filled. So it is still there waiting to be filled. So Floyd's Garage, I'm looking at both the on-chart indicator and the sub-chart indicator. Again, on-chart indicator and sub-chart indicator. They are different colors. So I'm waiting to see what happens at this line up here. See if the aggressive buyers are met by this iceberg order. See what happens. Let's take a quick look and see what options traders are doing. Mag 7, not doing much with Mag 7. The hero line for the S&P 500 is rising. Traders are taking positive delta positions now. And note there have been some buy iceberg orders. I'm showing buy iceberg orders below price with this darker blue icon. Note all the green volume dots, aggressive buyers coming in, so a stop run, and aggressive sellers on the way down. Stop run, aggressive buyers come in, buy iceberg orders, price moving up to the waiting sell iceberg orders. So not very large size here, but that was, those orders were executed. You can see that line terminates. 100 contracts executed. 202 buy stop orders. Let's go back and check on Hero. Hero continues to rise. Traders taking positive delta positions. Stop run and aggressive buyers up through the waiting sell iceberg orders, not large size. And the next levels up to look for a reaction. 497, SPY 497, and ES 5000. Let's zoom out, get a little bit of a bigger picture. So far CVD continues to rise. A lot of green volume dots there. So I'm looking for price to move on up to these levels here, and then looking for a reaction at those levels. Let's do a quick check of Hero. Hero continues to rise. Traders continue to take positive delta positions. Let's do a quick check on 0 DTE. Looks like 0 TTE trades making up about a third of the total notional value today, but traders are taking positive delta positions in options that expire today. That's just the for the S&P 500 has options that expire every day. So next expiry for the S&P 500 is options that expire today, the 0 DTE. Let's turn that off. Go back to Bookmap, and the ES continues to grind up to toward the 497 and 5,000 level. CVD continues to grind higher, and more buy stop orders coming in. So again, I'm looking for price to continue to move up closer to 497 and looking for a reaction at that level. And we'll watch this for just another minute or two. Let's do a quick check on NASDAQ. NASDAQ also moving higher. Another check of Hero. Still continues to move higher. So right now, traders are buying calls and selling puts. Orange line and blue line both rising. One last check of Hero, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Now it looks like Hero signal maybe turning lower, maybe a pullback or a reversal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We'll see what happens later on. Juan asks, the stock screener below the Hero chart shows a Hero signal from yellow to green, asking if I use that. Let's take a quick look at that. Mount. All right, so I assume this is what you're talking about. Right here, this Hero signal. And what this is showing is it's a rank of the Hero signal. The entire length of the range is showing the strength of the Hero signal in the last 30 days, and then the colored portion showing the last 5 days. And I used to use this. I don't use it so much anymore. But if you're looking for something to trade, that is a good approach. If you have a watch list or the entire signal, so you can see the signal for NDX. For example, I'm ranking from weakest to strongest. Is the weakest that it has been in the last 30 days and the last 5 days. And then for Tesla, it's the strongest that it has been in the last 30 days and last 5 days. Let's just take a quick look at Tesla. All right, so Tesla bullish today. Strong Hero signal. Let's go back to the S&P 500. And let's go back to Bookmap. All right, so that was just a little pullback. Aggressive buyers coming in. So again, I'm looking for a move on up to 497 and 5,000. All right, my time is up. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you very much for your questions and comments. Remember, tomorrow retail sales, and then Friday PPI and options expiration. We'll talk more about the options expiration tomorrow. All right, everyone, thank you very much. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.